Hey guys, welcome to the Model Citizen Podcast. We're your hosts, Hunter and Michaela. We are so excited to have you here. All right, let's dive in.
We're just so ugly coming right now.
Nothing
burping.
like starting a podcast with the biggest, frat boy, Travis Kelce-esque belch of all time.
Here's the thing. Hi, guys. Happy Thursday. It is the day we've all been waiting for. I'm coming to you live feeling so uggo, okay? And here's why. I got my period yesterday. Actually, you did too. So we're quite literally synced up, which finally, I felt like we were synced and then we were unsynced and then now we're synced again. So I'm literally breaking out everywhere. I'm so bloated. I'm eating everything in sight.
Yes.
I am also on full-time mom duty today. So that means our nanny is out today. So I was doing school, music class, breakfast, lunches, nap time. Now I'm doing a podcast. And after this, I'm going to go and start dinner so I can have it prepared for after nap time. So I'm sweaty, right? So we're just hitting this out of the park already.
Right. It's already a 10 out of 10 day.
10 out of 10. I already know that this video footage, because I'm coming to you with just a mere swipe of mascara, is going to give rosacea. It's going to give rosacea.
Rosacea, yeah.
It's going to give broken capillaries because we're coming to you guys from high res. So I apologize for that in advance.
Yeah. I was waiting for your apology.
Thank you.
I was like, it's weird. Why would she come on here looking like this? But you know what? You're in full-time mom mode and I'm going to let it go.
Thank you for showing.
I'm going to let it slide
grace.
just based on that. I'm all about showing grace, you know?
You really are all about showing grace. Now, I just came back and I want to get your thoughts on this. I just came back from getting a little snacky snack after school with my kids. I went to our favorite little bakery. And now I'm curious to see where you stand and I want you to not go with your first inclination. Think about the little boy on the plane when you were coming home. Okay. So hold on.
Okay.
So I
don't like how you set this up. I feel like you're leading me a little bit here. You're influencing my answer too much. Right. So just say it.
Okay.
Say it.
So I was at this place and there was a woman next to us who was working very clearly on a computer, had a ton of paperwork out and about, very focused. And then to my right side was a mom with a baby and her mother and a toddler. Okay. And so the toddler went over to the woman and was like, "Can I draw?" And then the woman was like, sure. And so the little girl sat right next to the woman who was doing work, was drawing on her paper using her pencil, was talking to her. And the mother wasn't saying zilch. Wasn't like, "Oh, honey, come back over here. Let's draw over here. That's so nice of you. We'll get a pen elsewhere, blah, blah, blah." Took her paper, her pencil, everything, okay? Is talking to her the whole time. And then the mom goes, "Oh, yeah," isn't even acknowledging the little girl is quite literally in this woman's workspace.
Right.
Is like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Her name. Did you tell her name is XYZ?" And then she was like, "Oh," the woman was very nice, right? But then the mom was like, "What are you working on?" And the woman was like, "Oh, drawing Peppa Pig." And she was like, "No, I'm kidding." She was like, "I'm actually doing math for my job. I'm working with numbers right now." Okay. The mom completely is it's going over her head. Okay.
Right.
Then she goes over and she starts talking to the woman. She starts literally going back and forth from her table to this woman's table as if this is somebody that she knows. And she is letting the daughter just hang there, just draw, using all the woman's stuff. Now, I want to know, I was horrified.
Right.
But I want to know, would you be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cute," if you were the woman working?
Yeah.
Would you be like, "Oh, that's so cute," or would you be like, "Come get your kid"?
Oh, I would 100% be like, "Come get your kid."
Okay.
Come Get your kid. Okay, here's the thing. I understand that when you're in public, okay, we're all sharing a public space,
Right.
you know? So if I go to a cafe and I'm on my laptop, I expect that maybe there's going to be a kid crying. I
Right.
expect there's going to be a couple talking at the next table. Like, the world is not yours. Like,
Right.
when you go out into the world, you are not entitled to peace. Okay.
Right.
This is why we all stay home, right?
Right.
Because we're only entitled to peace in our own home. And even then, it's under siege if you like really think about it. But when I go out to a cafe, like, I know that some things could go awry. But I also, there's a contract that we all make. And
Yeah.
that contract is that we're not going to invade each other's space in a way that is like outrageous or unreasonable.
Right.
And I think that there has been just this weird but also it's just certain individuals, I feel things just go over their heads. Like, they don't realize how invasive they, or in this case, their child is being. And I would have been horrified if that was my kid. To not even try to get your kid to come over, and then to you yourself start getting involved and asking questions. The disrespect for this woman's like job and her time, it's kind of giving like I'm a mom, and so like I'm entitled to just like do whatever I want because I have kids. And like, oh, you're just working, I'm doing the real work over here being a mom, is kind of like giving that energy in a way.
Right.
And it was just like, that's like disrespecting that woman's
Yes.
space.
And
like, we do all have personal bubbles, though, is one
Right.
thing I will say.
And this woman couldn't have been nicer. This woman was like actively talking to this mom and was like, yeah, I remember when my kids were that age, blah, blah, blah. I, as a bystander, was horrified on both ends. I was horrified for the woman. I was horrified that the mom was doing. I literally, and then once they left, Ava and Hudson were kind of like, what they were doing was Ava was dropping her water bottle, and then Hudson was picking it up, and it was like making loud sounds.
Oh no!
And I was like, no. We are not going to do that. After this poor woman just literally got accosted. I mean, bless this little toddler. Like, I understand, because I have these kids too who want to go up, who want to talk, who want to do all that. But I'm also the mom that's like, no, we're not going to do that. I believe your child has to be restaurant ready. Yes, and we've talked about this before. They have to be restaurant ready. And what this means is they have to be able to sit and kind of like be at a restaurant. You can't be like going up to other people's tables and just like, hey, I'm going to draw, like, and then not being like, hey, come back over here. Like, there is like that respect, right? Yeah. I was just like, and then the mom was like, what are you working on? Like,
I mean, that right there is sort of like, oh, that's why your kid is getting all up in her business, because you get all up in people's business.
Bro.
And you don't have your own boundaries. You don't recognize boundaries yourself. So how's your kid going to recognize boundaries?
I couldn't believe that. I was like, oh my, and I could tell she didn't really want to tell the mom, because she was like, oh, I'm doing math right now. I'm working with numbers right now. Because it's like, none of your business. What if she was like, I'm tapping into your phone information right now? Like,
it's so none of your business that it's just so wild to me. But man, if there aren't those people out there who are just, they ask too many questions, you're just like, it's none of your fucking business.
I ask so few questions that it probably is rude.
It drives our mom crazy because we ask so little questions. Like, I will not be the person who is like grilling you in line at a grocery store. Like, and our mom stays grilling, and like, she's always like, well, what about this? Did you ask them this? Well, what university did they go to? Oh, really? Where were they born? Oh, okay. What hospital? Like, as if I was supposed to get all that information from somebody. Yes. I don't even know that information about my best friends. Like, why would I know that about the person that I was just standing behind at CVS? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy. But it's funny because when we were flying back from Maryland, because over the last weekend we were in Maryland visiting Martin's family, which shout out to Martin's family, and an even bigger shout out to Alana, who is Martin's
shout out to Alana. Yes.
brother's wife, my sister-in-law. She is a listener and a queen and an icon. You know, that's one thing I'll say. We love her. Shout out to her. And then we were like visiting their kids. I won't say their names just because I don't know what their privacy is like. God. Yeah, they're so sweet.
Oh, the baby's little chunk of little feet. I just want to eat them for dinner. God,
they're just, and you know, the thing is like my nephew, he's 4 now, and he is so smart. And I wonder, like, does everyone say that about their kid, or like are certain kids super smart? Because he was literally telling me everything about the solar system. He told me that, did you know that Mars is cold?
What?
It's cold on Mars.
No. Really?
It's cold on Mars.
Yeah. I never really thought about the weather on Mars. I think I only really thought about the weather
let's start there. Let's start there.
I think I mean,
why am I thinking so much about the weather on Mars? But like, when you think Mars,
when I think Mars, I think it's just, you know, I honestly think that it might just be like a cool 65.
Okay. Yeah.
And just,
okay.
like,
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. I always imagined that it was like warm desert, dry, red. That's like what I envision. I think because because it is red. It's a red planet. Okay. We really got to start from point 0, don't we, with this?
Sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not.
So Mars is the second planet after.
Facts.
We are a scientific podcast. He was telling me everything about space, and I could not believe it. He was like, I said, I think we were like pretending that we were landing on Mars, and he was like, you have to get a spacesuit on. It's cold. And I was like, it's not cold on Mars. It's hot. And here I am thinking I'm schooling this child on the temperature of Mars. And he goes, no, it's not. It's cold. I was like, excuse me? I was like, Martin, look that up. I was like, excuse me, Martin, look that up.
That's the most you thing. That is the most you thing to be like, look that up and then make sure it's fact checked to this sweet 4-year-old.
Right, but
what if it wasn't cold? What would you have been? No, it's not.
I would have told him because I don't want him walking around saying something wrong. I won't have my nieces and nephews walking around giving out bad information.
What? He's not going to let his doofus aunt say something wrong, and you just about were.
And I love that I love him for that, and I respect that he literally corrected me. He was like, it's cold. My mom said so. And I was like, well, if Alana said so, you're probably right. So I was like, is it really? I think it like is an average of like negative 70 degrees at all time.
I don't like that.
That was crazy to me. He schooled me really hard. We had an amazing time. We had a birthday party for him, his 4th birthday. And Alana got Wegmans food. So you already know that
it's
I
already
was
good. Everything,
I was
literally. There's no notes.
You know, if you listen to this podcast, no notes. If you listen to this podcast, you know I have a serious hard on for Wegmans. Like it may be a situation where because I don't have it all the time, I have no access to it. I really like revere it as a place, and it's like okay, it's like good, but it's like relax, you know.
It is so good. The fruit is better. The vegetables are better. The food's better. The cakes are better.
Thank you. And we were talking chicken. Now they got a bunch of stuff that you've never gotten. And now I do need to raise this.
Like what?
I need to pull you up on this. Why have you never gotten mozzarella sticks from Wegmans?
Because what am I going to do? Eat a mozzarella stick on a Wednesday?
Well, what else are you going to eat a mozzarella stick? I didn't know mozzarella sticks were day specific.
To me, a mozzarella stick is like, that's like, okay, yeah, we'll come over for Sunday football or a birthday party.
Right. And I have been there for Sunday football, and I have also been there for birthdays, and nary one single mozzarella stick within sight.
Michaela?
And chicken fingers.
I didn't realize they had chicken fingers.
They have bomb, wonderful, beautiful, stunning chicken fingers.
Was the cake from Wegmans too?
No, the cake was from this other place that was like, I can't remember the name of it. It was like special though. I don't know. I didn't really have any.
Good at Wegmans too.
Yeah, the cakes are incredible at Wegmans. But
this is a Wegmans podcast.
This is a Wegmans, dude. Sponsored by Wegmans. Honestly, my fucking dream, dude.
Dream.
Here's the thing. Aquaphor and Wegmans should genuinely sponsor us. But all of that to say that I was flying home, and there was a little boy that was probably, how old would you say he was? Like maybe a year?
1, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like a year old. And he was sitting in front of us, and he was absolutely the most butterball precious baby. Okay.
A dumpling.
he was so good on the flight in the sense of like wasn't crying. And for me, that's like baseline good. Like if you're just simply not crying the entire flight, you're a good baby.
Yeah.
If you're crying the entire flight, you're not a bad baby, but you're not a good baby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Like I'm not saying you're a bad baby, but
Imagine
you're not
you're like,
a
wow, bad
good
baby.
bad baby, dude. And I do say that sometimes to Martin. I'll be like, bad baby. But he was not crying. But what he was doing was he was playing peekaboo with Martin and I, like the entire flight, which was a 6-hour flight. Now,
yeah, it's a lot of peekaboo.
the first 20 minutes is so cute, right? You're just like, oh, you little silly goose. Like, peekaboo. You know, you're like hiding. You're like, you know, he's like, he was reaching his little chubby hand back at us. And I kept trying to not touch him because of me, because I don't know this kid and I don't know what kind of I don't know what kind of germs are on my hand. It was so sad though because he kept reaching out for me. And eventually I got up and went and washed my hands like super good because I was like, okay, this kid's gonna keep reaching for me and I can't not reach back. It was like breaking my heart to be like, sorry, I can't touch you, because he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and it's really, really cute and he's giggling and he thinks it's hilarious. And of course he's like looking at Martin because kids absolutely love Martin. They just like flock to him. But then like after like 45 minutes of this kind of happening intermittently, I was like, babe, I'm trying to watch Oppenheimer. Like I have to pay attention to every single word of dialogue.
Like
don't you understand that?
Yeah.
Right. Like he should know that by now. And so I'm like, you've been on the planet for a year. Like, do you not know Christopher Nolan movies? So I'm like, I need to pay attention, you know? And the mom is just like, oh, and like
God.
on her phone. Right. And I'm just like, girl,
here's the
please.
Kids
I'm not your babysitter.
This. My kids are prone to staring at people. Staring, like literally will stare at them. And I will not
Which
allow
is fine.
it. No. Okay, what? 2 minutes is fine, max. Again, you have to be so on it as a mom, and like, because what? Then you have to have like some child staring at you for hours, and you're just like, okay, can you like take over? Like, hello, because then you feel that you feel responsible to entertain the kid. Because like, how can you not be like peekaboo? Blah, blah,
That's
blah.
what I'm saying.
And
it made me feel responsible to entertain this kid, which we did for like half this flight.
Of course.
And
the mom was probably like, oh, thank God.
That's the thing, is the mom was like, thank God. And I'm like, I am not gonna be the one to be like, okay, enough, to a 1-year-old. Like it's a literal,
especially the way he looked. He was so cute.
He was so cute.
Was
and
like,
he just
chunkers.
And he kept like peeking through the thing. And I was just like, my heart was just, after I just left my nephews, after I haven't seen Hudson and Ava in so long. It's been like maybe 5 months, which is an absolutely insane amount of time. After my heart was like aching for the babies. It was a whole thing. And I wanted to be like, I wanted the mom to be like, okay, enough, and like grab him back. And like, maybe in an hour or two, you can start peekabooing again.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like intermittently the entire flight. And like at one point I did like kind of zone in.
You're like,
to my movie.
Turn around, or else.
Turn around to a 1-year-old. He's just terrified. He starts crying. I literally make it worse.
So
I don't know.
It's very interesting that you brought this up because, and to see how we're snowballing from one thing into another, just effortlessly. It
Queen's
just, we flow. We just go from one to the other. So, I do gentle parenting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm getting off of gentle parenting. And here's what I'm talking about. So
this is going to cause, I think, a stir in the industry.
It's going to cause a stir in the industry, but here's the deal. Not saying that I'm like done being gentle with my kids, but the thing is that there's so many Instagrams and things out there that are like, okay, if your kid is hitting, just simply say, I understand. We're going to redirect your anger. We're going to redirect your hand. Yeah, I've tried that. Okay. That doesn't work for my kids. Okay. And I understand you guys. And I'm not saying I'm being mean parent. I'm just going to intuitively parent. And for me, I made a decision this weekend.
Right.
For me, it's going to be what I believe works for my kid and what is to be true. And that is sometimes they just need good old like discipline. Like you do not hit. We do not do that here. You do not scream in restaurants. Okay? Because here's the thing. I've done the gentle parenting and I'm not against it. And there's still things I am doing. And by the way, I already know if someone took this out of context, people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, there's like no." I do. You kidding me? I literally am like, I understand. In that
if
context,
you've spent any time listening to this podcast, you know where you stand.
I'm a sucker.
On all
Yes,
of this.
I'm literally like, I understand, sweetheart. I understand you're frustrated. But then if the thing keeps happening, I'm like, well, this surely isn't working. Okay, so you have to go the other route because like Hudson this weekend, he just got frustrated and he kept hitting, and I was like, what's going on? You know, like obviously there's something. So we took him aside. He kept doing it, and then we started kind of raising our voice a little bit.
Yeah,
and he stopped.
Right,
he was like, oh. Okay, I guess this isn't just like something I can just get away with, and mom's tone is the same as it always is. Right? Like it's the same as, hey, dinner's ready, and hey, hands are not for hitting. Right? Like
yes.
And so I'm like, and same thing with like yelling in restaurants or something, right? I'm like, we don't do that here. Do you? And they always say, don't tell kids like, oh, look at the other kids. No, I'm literally like, do you see any other kids yelling right now?
Right.
That's how and then he's like, oh yeah, you're right. There are no other kids. So I'm kind of in that teeter-totter of like, I'm going to do intuitive parenting. And I unfollowed all of the Instagrams because I'm just like, I feel better just doing it on my own and figuring it out that way and what works for my kids.
I feel like you're coming back to the dark side that I'm on. Like I'm on one, maybe more.
You're on, yeah.
Like I am like, listen, gentle parenting, it's fine. Like however you want to parent your kid. This is my thing is like however you want to parent your kid, do that. Like I literally do not care. Unless but I know for me
being physical, then I care.
Of course. I just mean like whatever style of parenting, if you're coming from a place of wanting the best for your child, I feel like everyone is their own. Intuitive parenting, I think, is the best like thing I've ever heard in my life because it's like every person is different and every child is different. Like why would you subscribe to this like way of parenting that is like a blanket approach?
Right.
When there's so many millions of situations that happen all over the world that are so unique. So intuitive sounds amazing. Second of all, like we did not have parents who were gentle parenting.
No.
Our parents were like, stop it. You're embarrassing us. Like, stop. And we were like, oh, okay. Stop.
There wasn't, it was like, we do not yell in restaurants. Do you understand me?
Yes. Dude,
bro, the way that I would be like, understood. Like say, but the thing is I just realized I'm
at ease, like absolutely.
You know, and I'm such a firm believer in like, of course, give them the tools to do what they need to do. But after this weekend, Brad and I were just like, I think we're just more into the intuitive parenting because the other simply doesn't work and our kids simply make a mockery of us, right? Like we need to be, I think that there needs to be, we need to be the parent, they need to be the kids. Of course you get to that when they're older and things start to change, the dynamic starts to change, but even then you're the parent, you know? And I think that so many things these days is like, just kind of like let it roll off. They're learning a lot. And I'm like, no, there is no hitting. No. There is no screaming. There's no raising our voices. There's no spitting. There's none of that because I'm going to teach you how to behave as a human out and about. I understand things are going to be different. I understand you're going to have moments and I understand you're going to have temper tantrums. Right. But we're going to work through that in a way where you understand better. I also think every kid is different. You know,
that's what I mean.
Like, they respond.
Some kids only are going to respond to like if you are firm and they need those boundaries.
Yeah.
And they're looking at mom and dad to be like, can I act like this?
Right.
And if you're kind of like, maybe if you feel like it, then they're gonna like, it's as opposed to a hard and fast no. Then they're like, got it, because like most kids don't want to be acting like up in that way. Like most human beings want to sort of follow the norms of society, and I think that that's ingrained even in a young age.
Right, absolutely. So that's my
that's what we're doing
stance.
there.
You know, things may change.
Yeah, exactly. Bring back timeouts and corporal punishment for children. That's where Hunter stands.
Imagine. Also, I'm laughing at my notes app because I have notes for this podcast. And if you just looked at it, you'd be just like chaos. Yeah. Like shitting out and about, guy with parrot not acknowledging us. We had a guy yesterday. We were walking to dinner. He was taking his parrot on a walk. Mm-hmm. And we were walking by and we were like, oh my gosh, Hudson, Ava, look at the parrot. Look, there's a parrot on a walk. That's so silly. And then we're looking at the guy, literally doesn't even make eye contact, doesn't even acknowledge it. Here's the thing. If you're going to have a parrot, fine. If you're going to have a parrot and take it for a walk and you're not going to acknowledge people and little kids, you would expect him to be like, yeah, hey, this is Tony or whatever. Right. You don't get to just have a parrot and walk it around and not acknowledge people. I'm sorry. That's illegal.
No. That is truly diabolical. That's diabolical behavior.
And by the way, we saw him multiple times. He did like laps. And we were like...
It's kind of giving pick-me energy for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Okay, here's my parrot. But like,
it's kind of like when you come into school after just getting like your, like the brace color. You know, when you had braces and you got your colors changed.
Or like
and
a
it's
brace,
like, obviously, like obvious. Yes, like obviously something's up over here.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. Don't even like...
Yeah, don't mention it. Or like you come back and you're just like have like a tan.
Yeah.
And you're like got braids in your hair and you're like, I don't know, I was in Aruba with my family over spring break.
Don't mention
really don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? It's like you just want to be so mysterious. Dude, how mysterious did you want to be in middle school? We were just like,
oh, I wanted to be so serious. And I will never forget one of my girlfriends wanting to be so serious. So much so that we went to her house one time and she had the words on a notepad. It was me, my best friend. We went to her house and she had the words on the notepad out and about in her kitchen, literally big as can be, Abercrombie photo shoot. And then we were like, ooh, what's this? And she was like, no. And she was like, oh, no, nothing. And literally hid the paper.
I love it. I love it. Talk about diabolical. God, I love middle school era.
So
girlies are just, I mean, they're basically pop stars if you think about it, because they're just, all we want is to be like the whole class to find out something like incredible about us.
We're
like Miley
Hannah
Cyrus
Montana.
style. Hannah. Yes. So Hannah Montana code and be like Debbie Ryan.
She's an Abercrombie and Fitch model. I had no idea.
It's just so big. It's just written on a huge whiteboard. Abercrombie and Fitch
know. And then she was like,
oh
my God. And we never.
I'm so embarrassed as she's literally
we never
up here trying. It's so big.
We were like, okay.
No. And that's amazing behavior.
I love that behavior. I also want to say that right now is prom season.
Yes, it is.
And can I just say that long dresses are back? And I'm so grateful.
They're back with a vengeance, dude.
Have you been seeing the TikToks?
Yeah.
The way that these girls...
saw one. No. I saw one recently. This girl had backup dancers. She had backup dancers that came out first. They were in like black leotards and they came out first to kind of like do like a little... And then the girl walked out wearing a full red to the floor, so cunty,
vaulted
floor
Versace.
length, literally, like, and a red mask, like a big, like silk over her head, covering her face, red mask. I was like,
I'm dying. I'm dying.
Gagged the house down. Gagged.
Okay. I love that so much. I can't even tell you. And what I love even more is that they're wearing this to like some airport hangar, right? Like,
Right.
I love it so much, and it makes my
It
heart so
really
happy.
is.
Like, everyone looks so incredible. Yesterday, we saw a gaggle of girls wearing like floor length, and they had the corsage. I was like, yes, bring back corsages, bring back the full length. But these girls are turning it out, and they're literally like I said, they're getting like, you know, early 90s Versace. Like, they're like doing it up.
I was born in the wrong era because when I went to prom, like this would have been like I would have turned out a TikTok for prom. And you know that. Like I hate to be this person, but I was a big fish in a small pond in my high school. And let's just be real about that right now.
Everyone at your high school listening to this going,
everyone in my high school is like, she's right. She's correct.
Correct.
Because I was about the fits. Like, you know this. Anyone who knew me knew this. Okay. I was even runner-up for best hair. And the only reason I didn't win is because the girl that did win, she just didn't cut her hair ever. And so it was just very long. And I really don't think that that's a basis to win. And I really want to recount. But anyway.
Yeah. I think that you should make that your new mission in life.
I think this is what I'm going to run on for presidency. I'm going to be like, Carly, because you were head of ASB, there's something fishy there.
Stop the steal, Carly.
Stop the steal.
Okay?
I'm literally taking her to court. Like, I want to see the ballots, okay?
Unroll.
Did some people vote twice? Like, that's the thing.
Did you guys have best looking? We had best looking. Michaela.
No.
Yes, you did. No, you didn't. We had best looking in middle school. Shout out to Megan Moore, who literally won it, and I forget who else. And the Macabre
That's
brothers.
so crazy that you didn't win that, but you
Michaela,
did win best hair.
Best hair. But the thing is this.
Yeah.
I simply wasn't giving in high school, okay? But anyways, you did turn out looks. The fact that you didn't win like best style is
I don't even think we had best style, but even if we did, I think scene was so in. It was so heavily in, and my style wasn't quintessentially seen. Like, I had the influences because I would have like a studded belt and like a band t-shirt, but like I loved fashion. I've loved fashion
forever
since I knew what it was. And when I tell you that I would have ate up of prom TikTok, because my junior prom dress
we've talked about it. Didn't we show it?
I know. I don't know if we've ever showed it, but I will bring it up. It was literally, there was only two available in America. And then my senior prom dress was Diane von Furstenberg. But we're not talking a Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress, okay? It was a white, short, paneled, gorgeous, silky, satiny string. Like, I mean, to this day, it's classic. Who the fuck else was wearing DVF to their prom?
Literally nobody.
Who was wearing Roberto Cavalli inspired dresses in the 2000s, mind you?
Literally
when he was at the height?
Everyone was in floor length, like
David's bridal.
David Bridal, but which we love. The thing is this. For my 40th birthday, I'm going to have prom.
Okay, no, you're not, because we're going on a trip, remember? So you can't. It's going to have to be your 35th birthday. My 50th? Do we have to jump all the way to my 50th as if it's right around the corner?
Practically. Okay, no. For my 35th, I want to have a prom. Because I never went to prom and I really want to have a prom. And we've talked about this before.
Sad.
I know you guys
trauma.
are like, trauma. But yeah, you
trauma
really
dump. There's a lot of things you need to relive. And actually, damn it if we're not good at segues, because that's another thing that I wanted to bring up.
What?
This is the culturification of Hunter. Now, it started with the signature.
Yeah.
I was like, Hunter needs to change her signature because she's
Kayla's like, Hunter needs to change everything about her. It's so bad.
I'm gonna Princess Diaries you when you A, don't need it, and B, like, did not ask for it.
Can we please?
It's giving. Do you remember that makeover show where they
the Ugly Swan or whatever?
Yeah, where they literally took like a person who just looked like a person, gave them $100,000 worth of surgery, and then like revealed it to the world and was like, "Oh my God, they're pretty finally."
Yes.
The 2000s were such a dark period of time. the culturification of Hunter is as follows. I want Hunter, you, to
Me?
I
Or
want
the woman behind me.
me. I want my sister. I had the idea. I was like, okay, there are so many movies where I want your feedback. I think that your perspective is unique and fun and funny. Okay. I'll give you that compliment today.
Okay, thank you.
I will not give you one for a while. So I need you to really chew on it. Okay. I need you to chew on it and really
that
digest
one's gonna
it.
marinate for a couple weeks.
It's going to have to. It's going to have to suffice. So what I need though is like, I need to know your feedback on certain movies.
Okay, but what movie are we starting with?
Well, I did post on my Instagram and I got some good suggestions.
Okay.
Some of them I'm like, absolutely not. Like, that's just like, I don't care for her to see that. I mean, if she wants to, that's fine. There's a movie, okay, that I don't know if you've ever seen it though. So like, tell me if you have.
Okay.
It's called Before Sunrise and it's with Ethan Hawke.
Mm-hmm.
It is from 1995 and Julie Delpy. And it is like the most beautiful, romantic, like just heartwarming, but also like, oh, like, but beautiful
Before
movie.
Sunrise.
It's called Before Sunrise.
Should we start
It,
there?
I think we just need to start there. Like, I just need you to have seen this movie.
Okay.
Basically, so Ethan Hawke plays this guy, Jesse, and this is like peak Ethan Hawke, right? Like when he was like
Hot.
so cute, like so 90s heartthrobby vibe. And he gets into the conversation on a train with this French girl because he's in Paris, he's a student, traveling, whatever. And it's basically like, I'm not going to say anything else, but they get into a conversation, the movie ensues.
Got it.
And I need you to watch it. So like for this week's,
Okay.
this is what we're gonna do, you guys.
Sometime
I'm gonna have Hunter
between...
now and when we pass. Hunter will have watched this movie.
We'll have watched it. Now, sometime between me having the busiest month of my entire life, having two young kids, and this podcast.
I decided to drop this as well.
So I will try my hardest. In between.
It's not long.
Okay.
They're really not long movies.
Yeah,
That's the thing about
you're
them.
giving me Avatar to watch. Like, I would absolutely do.
I want you to also watch Oppenheimer. I need your feedback.
I will not watch Oppenheimer. That is 3.5 hours, and I just can't.
I watched it twice in the last week. I watched it on the plane, and then I watched it with Martin.
You're
so that just goes to show.
You're so
I'm actually
cultured.
not. I just enjoyed it.
You're so...
I'm sorry that I enjoyed it.
Sorry, dude. I'll watch Barbie.
Okay. We can talk about Barbie, but we need to talk about Before Sunrise. Right. So this is going to be a mix of like, obviously they can't be scary because I'm not interested in scaring you. I just would love your feedback on some movies.
Scary films.
Imagine they're just like the Hellraiser series. I'm just like, I need you to watch and I need your feedback on how Pinhead tortures his victims. No, I needed just to like, I just want to know feedback because there's a lot of movies that I can chat with you about. And then there's some movies that I can't. And I don't like that. And I want to change that. And I'm the older sister and I'm pulling rank right now is all it is. And I never do that.
Okay.
But I'm pulling rank because I want this for you, but mostly I want it for me.
Okay. That's a very selfless act. Thank you.
I'm known for my selfless acts, which is actually true.
All right. Well, I'll let you know if I watch that.
Get to it. Hunter's not taking it seriously.
By the end of this podcast. No, I'm going to watch it, especially if it's like a rom-com.
I wouldn't say
or it's romance.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's funny, but you're not like, it's not like Kate Hudson, like, ah, ha, 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 like, look how silly they are. They're like tangled up in their dog leashes. Like, it's not silly like that. Right. It's just like beautiful. And it's like one of people's like favorite classic romantic movies.
All right, fine. I want you to know that Brian and I got on a conversation. There was firefighters who were like, they're like obviously rushing to a fire, and here we are with our two kids. We're like waving at them and we're like honk honk, and they like honked at us, and I'm like, wow, that's actually so bad. Like here we are being like honk 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 if you love us, like, and they're literally running to save. They did honk and they did wave, but it's how awful of us as they're on their way
to save lives.
And we're like, wave, Say hi to my son. Absolutely selfish.
All this episode is like Hunter feels entitled to her kids' entertainment over everyone else's comfort and safety. The parrot man, you better turn around and talk to my child.
I mean,
fire truck, I don't
wrong?
care if you're going to save an entire building of elderly people.
Wrong?
You're not wrong, is the thing.
Don't have
the
a
reason
parrot
you're
if you're
right,
not going to talk to kids.
The reason you're right is that it's the same reason why when I take Chio out and about, I know what I'm getting into. If you're going to take a 4-pound teacup Pomeranian out into public and not think that everyone's going to run over and like want to see her, want to pet her, ask you questions about her, if you don't think that little girls are going to run up in droves to my dog and be like, oh my God, this is an animal that I have dreamed about. Like, this is a small fairy Pokemon, like, sidekick
if you don't
in a fairy tale movie.
Get a new brain.
Literally.
Exactly. You have a bad brain.
If you don't think that, you got a bad brain.
You have a bad
brain. You've been hit
in
in the head too many times.
Dude, that's my new diss. I'm just going to say, you have a bad brain.
You got a bad brain. And I know that, okay, when I take her out. So when people come up, I'm ready.
You're ready.
Ready for it. If I had a family walk by and say, oh my God, hi, do you think I'm just going to
keep walking?
Like, blinders on, walk straight? That's crazy to me. Don't take your dog out. If you have a cute animal.
Don't take your dog out ever if you're not going to acknowledge people acknowledging your dog.
Any dog. That, literally honestly, and I will die on that hill. Like, if you're going to take your dog out and I'm like, oh, I'm not saying you have to let me pet the dog, but like, definitely be like, yes, isn't my dog cute or something?
Either acknowledge
don't just ignore me
or bad brain.
Acknowledge me or bad brain. Name of podcast or name of podcast episode. The other thing I wanted to discuss is the fact that Mom and I are in the trenches on Nextdoor. Okay. And if you guys don't know, if you guys don't know what Nextdoor is, it's just, I mean, I feel like everyone does, but Nextdoor is an app that is like a community app. So if you have a neighborhood, which we all do, it's like people who I don't know. How would you explain it? Literally, it's just like a community app.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. It's like a Ring. You know how Ring app is the same as like community. People update.
Facebook community app, whatever.
Right.
And you and
recently
are causing a ruckus.
We're causing a ruckus. Yes. And here's the thing. Like, we are fighting it. We're duking it out. It's me and Mom versus a community of privileged, white, middle-aged, fucking assholes, like, in the community. And the thing is like, Mom started it, to be fair. The issue at hand was someone had posted that there was a large number of houseless people / people that were living in RVs parking in this very open parking lot in the town, right? And they weren't happy about it for, I'm not really sure what reason exactly, allegedly because they don't want to be living next to a homelessness encampment was the term that was used. And I really truly thought, and this is just maybe this is just because I live in an echo chamber of like liberal, like left wing, like support your community,
you sure do,
sort of conversation and rhetoric. But I thought I was going to open the comments and see nothing but, how about we find a way to help these people? Why don't we offer them this? Why don't we call this person? Why don't we do this? Absolutely none of it. All it was line after line of, oh my God, I can't believe like, I can't believe that this entire town has turned into this and blah, blah. It was like so disgusting. And Mom sent me it, and she also sent me her response. And her response was like coming from such a place of compassion, which is so, of course, quintessentially our mom
has brought home. And then what was even so funny is that one guy who commented back and was like, why don't you open your door? And she's like, sir.
She literally has. There was a guy that, first of all, it was what's called a straw man fallacy argument, which is basically when you say like, oh, this thing. And then they say, oh, so you're saying this? And it's like, that's literally not what I'm saying. It's like, that's not, it's sort of like if you were to say, oh, I think we should legalize drugs so that there's not so many people in jail. And then someone goes, oh, so you're saying you want our kids to be running around on drugs? And you're like, that's literally not what I said, like, at all. Like, the point is for it to sort of like move the argument to a place that can't be fought, right? Like no one's going to fight against children on drugs. No one wants that. But that's not anything to do with what we're saying. So he was basically commented like, oh, why don't you open up your doors or your, driveway to these people? And it's just funny twofold because one, that's a straw man fallacy argument. So like it's a dumb argument to begin with. Two, our mom literally has opened her doors to houseless people since we were born. We literally lived with people. She gave them roofs.
Lived with somebody who was homeless, who then our parents got them back on our feet. We haven't even talked about that on the podcast.
No, we don't even talk about the fact that we had houseless people that lived with us, like many that mom and dad helped get back on their feet. Like they actively took these people into their home, gave them their food, gave them their, beds, fed them, clothed them, inspired them, connected them, did everything they could. And all of these people are better because someone reached out. Their lives have been enriched because someone reached out and there was a sense of community. So it was just so funny.
And I like what you said too. You were like, you know how many people are only one paycheck away from being homeless?
More than half of this country, people are one paycheck away from also being homeless. And I think that as someone who like has struggled and like, we've had tough times, like that to me just hits so hard because it is such a reality that I don't think people who come from places of privilege understand. You are not better than anyone. Like that's one thing is like you're no better than anyone. And like because we're all one paycheck away, not all of us, but because half of this country is one paycheck away, like we need to come together as communities. And like it just broke my heart to like, and then, obviously mom commented her thing and then I came to her defense too. And so it's just basically mom and I just duking it out.
I love it.
In the Nextdoor app right now, which I just never thought that I would be.
You guys are doing the Lord's work quite literally. And I hope that people go to Congress and, or at least are.
I mean, I'm linking people to like legislators. I'm like, here's what you can do. Here's the links you can go to, like call these people, do this, because like that's constructive. All you need to do is have compassion and be constructive.
Dude, we live in such an uncompassionate world now.
No, we literally do.
So sad.
And I'm sick of it.
But I love that you and mom are just absolutely out there.
We're just out here, dude. We're
fighting the good fight.
We're out here fighting the fight.
Guys.
I'm tired. My back is breaking. Gosh, you guys. I gotta jump because I got therapy pretty soon.
You sure do, sister. You sure do. Guys,
and if there's one thing we all have,
it's therapy.
It's therapy in an hour.
Yeah,
we should all have it.
We love you guys. We thank you. If you guys haven't checked out our Patreon and you guys haven't heard the NEWS on the street, we are now doing 2 extra episodes a month. So the first Sunday and the third the second Sunday
and the last Sunday.
And the last Sunday. We are doing extra episodes, exclusive content. Every podcast has video now on Patreon only. And you get it also a day early and all that good stuff for literally $5. You guys are robbing us fucking blind, but
blind. Also, we need to do a quick Patreon shout out. We love to give a little love back to you guys, our incredible Patreon. So I wanted to shout out Jennifer Clifford and Lindsay Bushing, Queens, legends. Just thank you guys so much for your support and your love. We love you guys so much.
We love you, and we will talk next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for listening. You can catch a new episode of Model Citizen every Thursday. And please don't forget to follow the podcast so you don't miss any of the action. We want to hear from you, so please leave a rating and review and follow us on socials for all the behind-the-scenes action at Hunter McGrady and Michaela McGrady. And don't forget, you are worthy, you are loved, and you are capable of doing all wonderful things. Bye, guys.